Let me read to you a passage from the 23rd chapter of St Matthew's Gospel, verses 1 to 12. It's the Gospel for Saturday of the 20th week of Ordinary Time. St Matthew writes, Jesus spoke to the crowds and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees have taken their seat on the chair of Moses. Therefore, do and observe all things whatsoever they tell you, but do not follow their example. For they preach, but they do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens hard to carry and lay them on people's shoulders, but they will not lift a finger to move them. All their works are performed to be seen. They widen their phylacteries and lengthen their tassels. They love places of honour at banquets, seats of honour in synagogues, greetings in the marketplaces, and the salutation, Rabbi. As for you, do not be called Rabbi. You have but one teacher, and you are all brothers. Call no one on earth your father. You have but one Father in heaven. Do not be called Master. You have but one Master, the Christ. The greatest among you must be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. That's Matthew chapter 23, verses 1 to 12. And what does it suggest to us? Well, studies have been made of indigenous religions across the world, and many suggest that among the various notable elements at work in them is that of power and position. The secrets that are reserved to certain persons in the religion, the practices that are required of the general body of adherents, and various other features point all too often to the quest for honours, authority and influence by some over others. One ought not be surprised at this in view of the fact that man is fallen, and in any case one ought not overstate its prevalence. In fact, one can see this factor at work in the history of religions generally. Indeed, it was present in the day-to-day workings of revealed religion too, according to the word of our Lord. In our Gospel passage today, he warns the crowds and his disciples against the example of the Pharisees. Do not, he warns, follow their example. For they preach, but they do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens hard to carry and lay them on people's shoulders, but they will not lift a finger to move them. All their works are performed to be seen. They widen their phylacteries and lengthen their tassels. They love places of honour at banquets, seats of honour in synagogues, greetings in marketplaces, and the salutation, Rabbi. The ones our Lord refers to sought honours and power and wished to be served. Their example must not be followed. On the contrary, our Lord says, the greatest among you must be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. So our Lord is teaching that what ought distinguish those in positions of honour and authority in the religion revealed by God is humility and the service of others. Can we think of the humility our Lord is speaking of? Examples of it? Well, one example might be the humble apologies expressed by Popes Paul VI and John Paul II on behalf of the Catholic Church for various offences against other religions in the course of history. One example. But there is a second point made by our Lord in today's Gospel. It is the importance of authority in revealed religion. In his criticisms of the Pharisees, our Lord is not in any way dispensing with the authority to guide and teach that is exercised by various persons in religion. In respect to the Pharisees, he actually supports their authority, for he says to the crowds and to his disciples that the scribes and the Pharisees have taken their seat on the chair of Moses. Their position as teachers, that is the chair, has the sanction of sharing in the authority of Moses, and our Lord recognizes this. Their position is legitimate in the Mosaic religion and should be truly respected as such. This has important implications. Therefore our Lord says, "Do and observe all things whatsoever they tell you." These words are significant, for it shows that our Lord not only fully respected the central and enduring things of the Old Testament religion, such as the Ten Commandments and the Scriptures, but he has a profound respect for the institutions of day-to-day religion in the life of God's chosen people in his day. He reverenced authority in religion and insisted on respect for its exercise. While our Lord sharply criticized the Pharisees' love for honours and certain details of what they required, such as certain stipulations respecting the observance of the Sabbath, his exhortation that his disciples and the crowds observe all things whatsoever they tell you shows that he did not dispute their legitimate authority, nor in general their guidance. The point we can take from this is not, of course, the question of the Pharisees. The substance of our Lord's teaching here in our passage today is, firstly, that authority in revealed religion is to be exercised humbly and in a spirit of service. Secondly, this authority and those who exercise it are to be respected by all, even if their personal example is far from adequate. Authority of necessity pervades society at its various levels. Life cannot be lived without the exercise of authority. In the revealed religion of Christ, he established authority, and it is a fundamental component of his revealed religion. Those in authority occupy the chair not of Moses but of Christ, and have been given by him a share in his authority to teach and to guide. This must be respected. At the same time, those who exercise this authority must do so in a spirit of humble service, as would Christ himself.